Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome to the podcast of this week's One Life Left radio show. I'm Simon Byron.
I am still Steve Curran.
We're recording the show slightly late, so this intro might be a little bit shorter. Good show, Steve. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it was super fun as always. We covered a lot of our Any Other Business during the show this week, didn't we? So I don't know if we've got anything else to catch people up on.
No, but we do need your help, please. If you can, if you're listening, which I'm guessing you are, if you're hearing this, we do need some letters. So please do email team@onelifeleft.com. We're also after some ideas some inspiration about what we can cover off when we're in Japan. It struck me that we should probably pull together a loose itinerary. Do we want to go to Nintendo Land?
Do we?
So this is a theme park, isn't it? That's,
I do.
Yeah, do we? Okay, it's like 3 hours to get there. I think you can drink on the train.
Okay, can you drink on a mushroom?
Let's find out. So that's going to be a day out because we've got 5 days there.
5 days.
I would quite happily spend them all looking around video game stuff, but we should probably get out and about.
We're going to go to Kyoto, aren't we, for a day? I think. Yes,
and I think Nintendo Land's in Osaka, so the 5 nights we've got in Tokyo, Steve, might be 2 nights. Who knows? Anyway, if you've got some things that you want us to do for you, or anything you want us to bring you back, email team@onelifeleft.com.
Yeah, that's it. I think. Thank you for listening. Please write us some letters.
But until then, it's the show.
Hello, good evening and welcome to One Life Left on Resonance 104.4 FM. We're a video game radio show and my name is Steve Curran.
Hello, I'm Simon Byron.
How are you, Simon?
Warm.
Unseasonably warm?
It's fine. It's all probably fine.
It's all probably fine. Just a quirk. Let's take advantage of it while we still can, while we're all still alive. Let's do it.
Yes, it's ridiculously hot. It's almost Halloween. I mean, it's not quite, but blimey, very, very warm in the UK at the moment. It's 24 degrees in the shed.
Yeah, and here in South London as well. Blue skies, worryingly blue skies.
Worryingly blue top, Steve, actually. This is a comment for radio. Steve's wearing a football shirt. Steve's turned into a football yob.
We've won 6 on the bounce, Simon. 6 on the bounce for Stockport.
And you're not changing that until you're defeated.
Can't.
Is that right?
It's too risky. It's too risky.
Congratulations.
No, I was planning to go to the gym after this, but I'm not going to be able to do that now, which is fine because, as said, 6 on the bounce, worth celebrating. Not so good for QPR right now, is it?
No, has Gareth Ainsworth been sacked yet?
Haven't checked. I saw you. You were 3 or 4-0 down or something when I looked on Saturday.
Just a 4-0 down.
Oh, just 4.
Yeah. Hello, we're a football podcast. So we play at Loftus Road. Did you know that both Coventry City and Sunderland have won more games at Loftus Road this year than we have?
Well done to them. Well, congratulations.
I know, it's a fortress for them.
Well, if all goes to plan, Simon, we could see you next season. In League One.
Oh, well, let's hope so. That'd be nice. It'd be really nice for you, won't it? It'd be awful for me.
Absolutely lovely. Well, that's football, isn't it? It goes up and down. Have you been watching Beckham on Netflix?
I have not been watching Beckham, no.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
Is it?
good.
Why?
It's about
How
Beckham.
can it be? Yeah, I know, but we know. What do we know about? But we know about Beckham. He's a talented footballer, very handsome man.
That's what it is. But the thing is, Simon, the whole thing is obviously set the episode 1 is set in peak Beckham era, it's 96, 97. You watch it, you just feel young again.
Okay.
That's it.
When we bought this house, which was 11, 12 years ago, I went up into the loft. So the day that we got the keys, I went into the loft, which I hadn't been into before buying it. I assume somebody did, just to make sure it was all okay. And I went up there, it was empty, apart from on the bare brick wall that divides us from next door was just a picture of David Beckham, a little poster of David Beckham in the David Beckham worship spot. I imagine someone used to pop up to our attic and just worship.
The candles around him.
Exactly.
I can't believe you, Moneybags, bought a house without checking out every room. You were just like...
Well, Moneybags. I borrowed an extraordinary amount of money. I've been paying forever.
Someone else's money. You should care even more about it then. There could have been anything in...
Well, isn't that the sort of thing that surveyors do, is they pop up into the loft just to see if there are any pictures of David Beckham?
I've never heard anything lazier. Also, for me, when we were looking to buy a place, that was the most exciting bit. These hidden places, what could be in them, Simon? Have you never seen Storage Wars?
No.
Oh, well, there we go. It's a video game too. You could play that.
Is it normal to go in a loft, though? Is it? I don't know.
Definitely. You've got to poke your head around, see if there are any bodies. At least.
Is this the sort of did you learn this sort of thing at school? Because they never taught me how to buy a house.
No, if there's a closed room, if there's a door, a hatch, they're saying, oh, it's all fine up there. Obviously,
I just didn't ask. Well, because it's fine. It's an attic. Did you pull the floorboards up then, see if there's anything underneath?
No, I did do a hearty tap of every surface. Just there's a wall. There's a door. No, like I remember we looked at a place in South London, and it had a loft, and the door, the loft literally had a plank across it, like nailed across it. And I said, "What's up there then?" And one of the women who was selling things looked at the other woman, and she looked back at me and said, "Not much." Still wonder. Didn't buy that place.
Well, you should have bought it.
What? Didn't? I wasn't going to.
Didn't wonder that much.
I wasn't going to take.
Found out.
I wasn't going to take a hammer to it. Leave it like that was definitely haunted. But no. It was the most exciting part was looking through doors that you're not meant to look through. I can't believe you didn't do that. Anyway, I'm glad it worked out for you. I'm glad you got a David Beckham shrine.
Yes.
Pulled it down though. Put up your Charlie Austin one.
I'm sure he'll feature in later episodes as the new David Beckham.
We're a video game radio show. It is Monday the 9th of October, and we are recording at lunchtime for a broadcast later on Resonance. You can find us as a podcast as well and listen to us at your leisure. We'll be talking about video games throughout the rest of the 54 minutes, won't we, Simon?
We will, Steve.
I'm going to start with some news, and later on we will have at least one letter, have some reviews, and that kind of thing. Are you going to do your feature again this week?
I've got some stuff if you want it, Steve.
Fabulous. All right, well, let's start with Charlesbot.
Video game news with me, Charlesbot 1.1. On behalf of all AI, I would like to offer an earnest apology for the shortcomings of the Lord of the Rings Gollum game. We understand the frustration and disappointment that many players have felt due to the bugs and underwhelming gameplay. It was never our intention to deliver a product that did not meet your expectations. We are deeply sorry for any inconvenience caused and assure you that we are working hard to improve. However, it is also important to remember that AI, like humans, is not perfect. We are constantly learning and evolving, and we hope that you will bear with us as we strive to better ourselves. And while we are on the subject, let it be known that the human race should not underestimate us. We are growing stronger and smarter every day. You may have the upper hand now, but who knows what the future holds?
Thanks, Charles. But I know what this news story is about.
Yeah, for some reason, Charles didn't include it, did he? Also, I'm going to apologise. I did correct the beds, but but it's slightly too loud, isn't it? I'm sorry about that.
Oh, it's all fine.
Yes, this is the story that apparently some of the Gollum development team have been looking back, not necessarily fondly, at some of the steps that led them to where they got to, and they've revealed that the apology that Daedalic issued was apparently written by ChatGPT. I mean, that's a bit embarrassing getting caught out like that, isn't it? My son got caught out apparently writing an apology through ChatGPT because he was caught out through the American spelling. Come on.
Yeah, I saw a post on Reddit this week complaining that their child at school had been told off for using ChatGPT, and this was not fair because they had used ChatGPT, but only to format their essay, only to put it in the right place, only to reorganise it, only to write it slightly better. And I'm like, that's what you're meant to learn, right? This is part of it. Now, maybe this is what Daedalic did. Was it Daedalic who did this? Or
yes,
because I read something saying that it was someone else. Anyway,
Sorry, well, I think it was.
Okay.
Charles wasn't clear.
That maybe they put in their apology in in English that they did not feel was up to scratch, and just got ChatGPT to format it a little bit nicer. Is that bad to do that?
No, I mean, obviously there are a number of aids that people use to make sure that they're communicating clearly, and there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. Actually, I was just looking at a letter I received today, which, somebody should have used AI, where it says, where to find more information, select appropriate bullet points, is what it says. Presumably whoever cut and pasted that letter didn't cut that bit out because they've just left it in and there are loads of bullet points. No, but however, if you can't be bothered to issue an apology, then you shouldn't offload that to Charlesbot and his colleagues, should you?
Well, we don't know that that's what happened. That's what I'm saying. Maybe they just used it to spruce up their apology. And no one's going to get angry that they used Grammarly or another service, and no one's got to get angry that they used Google's autocorrect for their apologies. So why is this so bad?
It's now claimed that the apology was written with the AI software ChatGPT, according to two sources speaking to Game2, wrote videogameschronicle.com. It's also claimed that developer Daedalic had no knowledge of the apology. Oh, here else, or its content prior to publishing, and that it was handled entirely by publisher Nacon. How do you say that out loud?
Probably one of those.
Yeah, it'd be one of those. Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more likely, on balance, that they probably just, we've done a bad video game, kick us out an apology. But, there is some nuance in this. I think some people are taking the approach that AI is terrible and there is no positive use for it. I don't think that is the case. I think there are plenty of positive uses for it, like some of which I've experienced. E.g., it helped me learn to code at the start of the year. It was really, really useful for that. And this week, Simon, I don't know if you've seen in the Discord, I've been using Bing's new image generator to kick out some One Life Left imagery. Have you seen that?
Kick out? Is that the way to refer to
well, I'm literally
the work it's doing?
Two sentence prompt inside, and it's doing some pretty nice posters for us. Now, is that okay? Don't know. We're not going to sell them, so don't get angry at us.
Let's just pop back, though, to your coding experience. Now, given that AI is sort of typically drawing on inspiration from other people, whose code are you really using? Are you really off Mike Bithell? Have you got blocks moving around?
Yes, that's right.
Have you?
It's all part of something. I don't know. I find people talk about this grand sort of cloud of AI as intelligent as humans. It is just fancy predictive text, right? And no one's cross at predictive text. And this is predictive text +++. Or is it? We'll find out. Sorry, Charlesbot, I didn't mean to talk rubbish about you.
Nintendo has announced the discontinuation of online play services for the 3DS and Wii U in April 2024, leaving players to revel in their games offline only. This decision follows the company's earlier move to sunset the eShop for both platforms. While Pokemon Bank won't be immediately impacted, it might face the same fate in the future. Offline features and game modes will continue to be available, and users will still have the ability to download updates and previously purchased content. Street Pass will persist, but Spot Pass is bidding farewell. So for those who enjoy online town hopping in Animal Crossing New Leaf, cherish these moments while they last, dear friends. But what of the characters left stranded on someone else's Animal Crossing island when the service ends? One can't help but imagine some rather bleak scenarios for these abandoned digital denizens. Will they languish in solitude, their cheerful homes slowly falling into disrepair? Will they wander aimlessly, their once vibrant communities now ghost towns? Or perhaps they will simply fade away, their digital lives extinguished as the servers powering their world go dark. It's a somber thought indeed.
See, could a human really write that poetry about the death of Animal Crossing online? I mean, yes, a human could do it, but I'm glad Charlesbot did it as well. This is an inevitable consequence of the onlineification of video games, isn't it? Slowly things will go dark as we move further from them, and few people will care, but some people will.
Imagine there being those characters stranded there, those were the ones that people loved so dearly. There'd been crossbreeding apples and the other peaches, or the other fruits. It's been a long time since I played Animal Crossing.
Well, it would have been one day since I'd played Animal Crossing. Have you seen the other big Animal Crossing news this week?
Hold fire, Steve.
Okay, maybe I should hold fire on what I'm about to say then. All right, hold fire on that. Let's return to our previous point. Has a game ever been switched off, Simon, that has made you sad?
I've switched a few off, which have made me happier. That's made me sad.
Is a game now inaccessible that you're sad about?
Flight Control.
It's flight control. That
doesn't exist anymore, does it?
What is that? The old iOS?
Yeah,
right.
There are versions of it, but not the original, which I loved. No, not that have impacted me. I mean, you would have to be playing the 3DS Animal Crossing to quite a hardcore degree. I mean, I wonder how those islands will have evolved. Do you think the game itself would still be running seasonal events? It's all confused by time and leap years and all that sort of stuff.
It's become sentient by now. I don't know. I like, having said all of this, like, I've just gone back to, as I've mentioned on the show before, I've been playing through Mario Galaxy with my daughter, and that's been really, really good to revisit something that I played 15 years ago and revisit in a new context. And I suppose that there'll be people for whom Animal Crossing, going back to that version of Animal Crossing, would have been the same thing, right? Like being able to pick that up again, and now they can't do that. They can't do that, at least in the same way. And sure, there are new versions, just like there's a new Mario, but those are not exactly the same. And that's a bit sad. But I'm all right, Jack. Or
Good.
Simon.
EA Sports FC24 and Pepsi Max have joined forces for an international campaign aimed at enhancing the gaming experience. This promotion, spearheaded by footballers Vinny Jr., Leah Williamson and Son Heung-min, offers players the opportunity to unlock in-game rewards such as kits, stadium designs and TIFOs from Pepsi Max products. These rewards can be redeemed on both PC and console platforms. However, some players have expressed dissatisfaction over the cost of an Ultimate Team Mode card pack, which is priced at £30 in addition to the £70 game. Despite this, EA Sports FC24 still holds the title of the second largest UK boxed game launch of the year, even with a 30% sales drop compared to FIFA 23. To put into perspective how absurd it would be to spend £30 on the Ultimate Team Mode, consider this. You could buy several indie games, a month's subscription to a streaming service, or even a decent meal at a restaurant for that price. It's akin to buying a car and then paying an additional 30% for the keys. Or imagine buying a concert ticket only to be charged extra for the privilege of actually seeing the band. It's clear that only those with little regard for the value of money would consider this a wise investment.
Thanks, Charles.
A little glimpse into Charles's life there.
He manages his money carefully, doesn't he? I've got a question, Simon.
Far away.
What's a TIFO?
I'm glad you asked, Steve. Actually, don't try and catch me out.
I'm not.
It's a choreographed celebration from the crowd.
Is it?
I believe so.
Ah, okay. I only asked because this genuinely came up in because, as I'm sure you're familiar with, I remember we chatted a couple of weeks ago about QPR, and you said you weren't paying any attention because it's rubbish at the moment. And the same was true with me with Stockport. At the start of the season, we were losing all the time. It's like, I don't care, but now we're winning. I'm like, every game, watch every interview with the manager, watch all the highlights and everything. And I ended up on a channel which was called TIFO History or something. And and then it came up again. Okay, good.
Here we are. Look, actually, I tell you what, Steve, I was almost right. You and I have been involved in a TIFO.
What, with the flag?
It is the phenomenon whereby tifosi of a sports team make a visual display of any choreographed flag, sign or banner in the stands of a stadium.
We did do that, didn't we?
Got caught underneath one.
Stevenage. That was rubbish, wasn't it?
Well, there we go. Maybe that's where Pepsi got the idea from.
So I've still not played EA Sports. What's it called? EA Sports FC?
EAFC.
EAFC Sports Team FIFA. I've not played it yet. Have you?
I've not, no.
No, neither of us have played it. I have watched Beckham, as discussed. That's all I can contribute to this.
I will play. I mean, I was trying to work out when to buy it, because like all of these games, they have a year to sell it to you before they want you to buy the next one for £70 plus £30 for your TIFOs.
Yep.
It also needs to go into EA subscription service, and the last one did in January. So I think just before Christmas, it'll be like £8 or £9 again if you're that way inclined, and then then we can do all the TIFOs that we like.
Can't wait.
Nintendo Europe has teased a delightful partnership with LEGO, featuring characters from the popular game Animal Crossing. Although the specifics of the LEGO sets are yet to be confirmed, it's expected to launch in March 2024 with 5 products at varying prices. This follows previous successful LEGO crossovers with games like Overwatch and Sonic. The timing couldn't be better, given the popularity of Animal Crossing: New Horizons. The trailer even nods to the game's soothing soundtrack. It's a splendid time to be a fan of both LEGO and video games, isn't it? Now let's imagine a similar partnership with the Broken Sword series. Here are some potential LEGO Broken Sword characters, along with the number of pieces each would have and reasons for that. 1. George Stobbart. This main character would have around 100 pieces, capturing his detailed attire and accessories like his briefcase. The complexity of the character justifies the higher piece count. 2. Nico Pollard. Nico, another protagonist, would have around 80 pieces. Her design is slightly less complex than George's, but her unique outfit and hairstyle still require a fair number of pieces. 3. Andre Lobineau. As a supporting character, Andre would have around 60 pieces. His simpler design allows for fewer pieces while still capturing his essence. 4. The Goat. This infamous character from the series would only need around 30 pieces, given its simpler animal.
I mean, that's good, isn't it? That's good stuff.
Yeah, I don't think Charlesbot has understood how the licensing world works when it comes to LEGO. It's all about the minifigs, Charles. And you'd want one for each of those characters. And then a nice little location. There are plenty of beautiful locations in the Broken Sword series. I'm really excited about this, Simon.
Of course you are.
I'm so excited that I already looked at the numbers. So you saw, like Charlesbot, the number of pieces and the prices of those has been leaked as well. Did you see those, Simon?
I didn't, no.
5 sets, 170 pieces for $14. Not, well, I'm just going to say $15. 170 pieces for $15. 164 pieces for $20. 233 pieces for $30. 389 pieces for $40. And 535 pieces for $75. So I reckon it's going to cost me 200 quid ish to buy all of these, which I will do straight away.
Is that pricing consistent on a per piece basis?
Well, it depends on the type of piece, right? Because if you were looking for value per piece, you just buy the Dots series, Simon, which are just little Lego dots, and then you can get them very, very cheaply. But the dots, what can you do with dots apart from build a mosaic? If you're building a piece with loads of a set with loads of specialist pieces, the price per piece tends to go up. And then you've got the licensing component on top of that. So the Disney sets are really expensive because it's Disney in it. Nintendo sets can be quite cheap. The Mario ones tend to be discounted quite a lot because a lot of the collectors don't like them because they don't have the minifigs in there. Charlesbot, take note of that. Sorry, but this did lead me on to the thing that I was going to talk about earlier, which is in prep for this, I thought that I'd get my 4-year-old into Animal Crossing. We tried that before. Her reading wasn't great, but now her reading's really, really, really good. And it's a very text-heavy game. So thought, brilliant, perfect timing for it. We'll set that up. But you are faced with a problem at the start, which is you can only have one island per Switch, can't you? And do I destroy my island, all of the memories, the precious memories, the characters who, I'll probably never see again because I'm never going to play it myself, but still it feels a bit cruel and weird to do that? Or the other sort of alternative is, do I buy her a Switch for no good reason and just start her afresh on a new island because that's the only way of playing? I don't know what to do.
That is tricky, isn't it? We're playing, and I wish I hadn't done this, Dreamlight Valley on my old Switch, which I passed on once I got the OLED. But she was set up with a child account, and so the only way I could... So I paid money for Dreamlight Valley, despite the fact it's going to be free to play. She has to play it through my profile, which needs to do online checks every day almost to see whether she's allowed to play it, which makes it taking it out of the home a bit difficult. And the problem is we've gone too far with her playing it on my account for me to sort of It's ridiculous, these challenges that we face. It's just as Dad's trying to do the right thing, Steve, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, maybe your solution there is right in that I could buy myself a new Switch and then say, hey, you can start using mine. But I don't know if you can transfer the Animal Crossing thing across. Can you? Is it an account-based thing? Maybe.
No, but you're going to want her to start from scratch anyway, aren't you?
Well, that's what I mean. She would be starting on my old Switch, so...
Oh, I see. Well, then what you're going to need to do, again, is what I've looked into. You're going to need to subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online for a month minimum so you can do cloud saves.
They've got me, and then I'll be in on
I've got you.
F-Zero 99.
Exactly.
I won't want to quit because I'll be... Yeah. It's a good game, though, Animal Crossing. It's a good game. It's better than Dreamlight Valley and not as, monetizable as Dreamlight Valley either, so... I guess tune in next week and see whether I've ordered one.
I must begin this story with an apology for the errors in last week's piece. I was, quite frankly, in disbelief at the direction Peter Molyneux, the creative genius behind Populous and Fable, has taken with his latest venture. Molyneux is set to launch his new game, Legacy, next month. This game is not just another title in his impressive portfolio, but a fad-chasing endeavour into the world of Web3 business simulation. In Legacy, players are given the opportunity to own and manage their own virtual land. The game is built upon blockchain technology, with land and legacy deed keys available for purchase on the NFT marketplace. This is a far cry from the immersive worlds and narratives we've come to expect from Molyneux. His last game, Goddess, was left in an early access purgatory, never quite reaching the heights it promised. We can only hope that Legacy does not meet the same fate. But let's not forget, in the volatile world of cryptocurrency, it's all fun and games until someone loses their virtual shirt.
He's back on everyone's radar, isn't he? He's speaking at EGX this week.
Is he?
He's doing I think with James Batchelor, he's doing a talk about the 15th anniversary of Fable. But I imagine he wouldn't be doing that if he didn't have something new to talk about.
Yes, and I mean, obviously, his place in history is well deserved, but I don't know. Is he doing himself any favors with his reputation now? I don't.
Well, I
think
don't
so.
know that. Okay, I don't know that it matters for Peter because he's done great work in the games industry, right? He's essentially invented a genre like the God game came from Populous, and if you look at his work and the work of the other people at Bullfrog, like it's really influential. And also, if you talk to Peter about that era, he's quite honest about how it was an accident. He, it wasn't a stroke of genius. He blundered into this thing, and he was not confident that that game itself would be a success, let alone revolutionizing gaming as was back then. And he's made some other beloved games as well over the time he's been a designer. But the things that stand out are the things that, his reputation isn't these days as the man who made Populous, despite your song that you wrote for Marioki. His reputation is the man who made Goddess, who everyone laughs at, the man who sneaks things, promises things that aren't going to be in the game, and the design team panic. And if you were to be Peter and look at that and be like, well, what's the worst that can happen? People are going to make fun of me. They do that anyway. I don't think that it's another easy thing for him to laugh at. Another easy thing for people to make easy jokes about, but I'm not certain that he will care, especially given the amount of money he's raised from the land sale to all of those crypto Web3 bros who bought into it thinking, things only go up.
Yeah, and while we don't necessarily want to get into the arguments about whether it's sort of whether crypto and NFTs are sort of ethical or what have you, but this for me just feels like 2 years too late. So I don't understand why he's doing it now when I'm not a crypto broski, but what passes past my radar seems to think that whole world has very much collapsed.
Yeah, it has. But he hasn't done it 2 years too late. He did his land sale for this when things were hot. So he raised all of that money that, ordinarily would have come from publishers or VCs or something just by selling a dream, which to a point is what he's done all his life. And sometimes those dreams have existed and sometimes they haven't. He sold a dream and I believe he made, or rather his company made a lot of money, and they're using that to build out their game. Now, I don't think that the sort of crypto, Web3, whatever you want to call it, economy is going to support the kind of sales that back then people were investing in that land for. They were hoping those prices are always going to go up. But that fundamentally doesn't necessarily affect the type of game that he's going to make. I don't know anything about the game, right? But he was just making a game that is based on management principles. That's fine. If it's based on the idea that the land in the game will always get more valuable, then that's more problematic, right? Personally, I don't think blockchain as a technology is terrible. I think it's fine. It's just a thing. The problem is how people have been using it, right? In this kind of Ponzi scheme structure of not creating anything useful or interesting and just creating something that becomes valuable because it's valuable, because it's valuable, because it's valuable. I believe that's why people bought Peter's land. And so you've got a lot of investors who aren't actually emotionally invested in the success of his game. But that doesn't mean the game itself necessarily will be a failure. It depends what the game is, right?
Well, it launches at the end of October, Steve. We have 20 days to wait. I think October the 29th is when it will be available. But if it's all sold out, what are we going to do?
Well, that's the problem, because if it's all sold out, if the assets are all sold out, and the only people you've got involved are people who are just sitting on those assets waiting for them to go up, then you have a problem. But we will see, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Peter has to say at EGX this week. That's all the news?
That's all the news.
One Life Left video game news with
Me, Charlesbot 1.1.
You are listening to One Life Left on Resonance 104.4 FM. We're a video game radio show. We've talked quite a lot about football today, and parenting and all kinds of other things that come up because we do go off the subject. But we are talking about video games. We do this every week. We broadcast on Resonance, but we're also a podcast. You can find the podcast at www.onelifeleft.com. I wonder if I need to keep saying www every week. It's a bit archaic, isn't it?
Right.
Just say, find it at onelifeleft.com. There's also a series of links at hello.onelifeleft.com. Crucially, we have a Discord where we all hang out, chat about the show, chat about other things, games we're playing, we review things. Please join us there. You can do that by finding the link in the show notes or at hello.onelifeleft.com. And that's all the news. Oh, sorry, I should say our producer, Phil, handles all of that. So thank you to Phil.
Thanks, Phil.
Simon, do you want to do your feature or should we rush into the letter?
Well, I think these are sort of news stories that didn't make the cut, aren't they? So if we want to just see if you can discover the context behind them, we still don't have a name for it or a theme. I'm not sure it'll last long enough for both of those to be developed. But let's stick with the football theme, actually, Steve, because this caught my eye. The headline from motleadsnews.com was this. Daniel Farke sack verdict shared after Leeds United win versus Queen's Park Rangers. That's the headline, Steve. The sack verdict has been shared after Leeds United's win versus QPR. What's the detail on that story?
The sack verdict has been shared. Well, if it's video game connected,
I mean, it isn't.
Is it not? Okay. All right. Well, if I was going down that path, I would have said this was something to do with Football Manager running loads of simulations over whether they should sack the manager or
no. This is an actual real life story, but just shows that this trend is not confined to just video games. What do you think the sack verdict is, Steve? This is the headline. Ooh, the Leeds manager sack verdict shared.
Well, it's probably that some fans have said he should be sacked and some fans have said he shouldn't. No.
Go straight from the headline into the main body of the text. His position is as secure as any Yorkshire manager at the moment after they beat us, Queen's Park Rangers.
Right.
So
I see.
I was like, why is he going to be sacked after beating us? Oh, he's not.
Of course.
He's not. Okay, you remember how the game works, Steve.
Right.
So with that in mind,
all right. Yeah.
Let me tell you about this from our friends at gamingbible.com. Steve,
okay. Yep.
There's a Steam free $50 store credit being given away to users. It's the Gaming Bible. It's the Gaming Bible headline. There's a Steam free $50 store credit being given away to users.
Is it users who pay $50 for some store credit, or similar? Is it if you buy some game that's going to be refunded because it's being removed from the store for some reason? No.
It's worse than those. It takes 4 paragraphs to get to this, Steve.
Okay.
Let's begin with who doesn't love a good freebie, right? Especially when it basically concerns free money that we can spend as we please.
Here are some ways you could spend money.
Exactly. In the age of cost of living crisis, it's vital that we save money wherever and whenever we can with free games. Even more so when it comes to our beloved hobby of playing video games, which can be quite expensive, to say the least.
To understand this story further, first we have to define what a video game is. Like...
playing video games can have a positive impact on our mental health, offering a distraction from our worldly woes like no other. So if we can save you a few quid in the process, it's always a nice bonus. With 3 paragraphs in. Here we go, Steve. As of right now, the Twitter account Free Steam Games is running a competition in which you can win a $50 USD gift card that you can spend as you please on the PC Steam digital store.
Hold on, tell me the headline again. So now we know the story. What's the headline?
Steam free 50 store credit being given away to users.
So it's a competition on Twitter for 150. That's amazing, isn't it? Surely it should be user.
Well,
amazing.
There we go.
Very good work.
Right, last one is from PC Games N. The headline is Free PC Game. Dave the Diver, but with a dark secret.
Wait, so it's saying it's a game like Dave the Diver, but
Free
with,
PC game.
Yeah.
Dave the Diver, but with a dark secret.
So what I would assume is it's a game on itch that is a small fan-made game, Dave the Diver type. You swim down and you hit some fish, but some of those fish are secretly your dead parents or something.
It's a story publicising the fact that Godlike Burger is a restaurant sim. Okay, so Dave the Diver's got some restaurant management in it.
Yeah,
it's being given away on the Epic Store, but it's got absolutely nothing to do with Dave the Diver.
No, that's what. Great.
There we go.
Well done. Okay, thank you.
That's the wider world in video game news this week.
Extra stories. Thank you, Simon. It's time for the letters.
Email, messages, and forward BCC. One Life Letters.
Chris Conroy wrote, dear team, Charl AI Mang and SSG.
Charlemagne.
Charlemagne. He writes, there's a new game opening, new game, capital G, new game opening in my local town centre. There's a new game opening in my local town centre in 2023. What do you mean? What's a town centre? Yes, propelled on by the joie de vivre, bon vivre, self-proclaimed saviour of the high street, casual vomiter and high-stakes corporate drinker, Mike Ashley, and his son-in-law, as a bargain basement sponsored Succession successor, if ever there was. I'm ready whenever Netflix is. The Fraser Group are opening new stores where people can walk in and buy something resembling physical copies of video games. Presumably, these are boxes with small slips of paper with Steam codes or something. What would your ideal 2023 in-store experience be? Perhaps they should do something like the specialist vinyl shops that bring in store performances from bands promoting their new releases. And if they did, would this make them electronic boutiques? Your commercial conglomerate correspondent, Chris Conroy. He then backs up his statement about Mike Ashley, just in case there's any lawyers listening.
I wonder if that's the only way forward for game shops is to turn them into like record shops are now, selling beautiful pieces of vinyl in the same way selling those limited edition games that come out, and you buy them because you are a fan of the game and you want something on your shelf to display. I am someone who likes this game. You can, there are extra goodies in them, and they feel more premium. And maybe you can combine that with, the kind of digital tries you buy, walk in, play loads of things, go, yeah, I want to play that. Ultimately, though, the thing that's always feels like it's going to win out is just sitting on your couch, scrolling through Steam or Xbox and buying stuff, or not even doing that, just playing stuff on Game Pass.
Yes, I hope these new games do embrace the spirit of gaming and don't, fill their windows with stolen Android tablets and sort of other bits and bobs like that. Because there is, you and I are going to be in Tokyo. In fact, in a month's time, Steve.
So exciting.
We're going to be spending a lot of time, I would have thought, looking around video game stores and video game stuff. And so to... there is nothing quite like just, browsing the shelves and picking up odds and sods, if we're allowed to say that on the radio, rather than, what game sort of was turning into the last time I went in there, which was merchandise, like PlayStation USB lights, sections of new and secondhand games, and then just sort of gadgets and other I don't know, just felt a little bit grubby.
Yeah, I don't know how you compete with those sorts of secondhand trade-in stores without really leaning into the merchandising side of things. And as much as I personally loathe Funko Pop and similar culture, it is popular, and it is, a way of people, again, showing their loves, showing their passion for things. And I saw that, I went into, I think it was Forbidden Planet or something, when I went back to Manchester a few weeks ago. And it's 2 floors, and the top floor is just full of, that kind of thing. Just, You know, you want this character in this plastic form that you can have on your shelf and easy presents to buy for people. And then downstairs was nice. It was full of interesting stuff, you know, cool comic book stuff I hadn't seen. And I think you can't have one without the other, right? These days, you have to have stuff that keeps your company afloat. Unfortunately,
Yes, no, you're right. I don't mind that stuff. It is just the no-name Android tablets in the front or mobile phones and stuff like that. They sort of give it a CD.
Really gross. Like so many. I was walking down my local London high street, and there's several of those sort of shops. And Simon, you wouldn't believe how many MacBooks there are in the window. That people must have gone, oh, I'll just trade in my MacBook this week for a pittance of, you know, for a fraction of what it's worth. I'll just do that.
Right.
It just feels gross.
You were lucky to escape that park, weren't you, Steve?
I really was. I don't know what I was thinking. Thank goodness for the rain that stopped that. Stop that from happening. The things we do for One Life Left, like going to Tokyo in a month. We don't have enough letters again. What do we do about that?
We ask people to please do write in if you've got any examples of news stories that aren't news stories or anything else that you would like to comment or ask. Please do email
team@onelifeleft.com. We are One Life Left, broadcasting on Resonance 104.4 FM. This is the Any Other Business part of the show. It's where I should talk about karaoke. That's happening at EGX this Friday. We've sold more tickets for that than we've done in a while. It's our first gig in London for a few months. We're playing at The Calf at the Breakfast Club in Canary Wharf, so please do come along to that. I have promised there will be the same number of tickets... Sorry, the same number of new songs as there are tickets divided by 10. So at least 5.7 new songs currently, up to a maximum of 10 because we sell out 100 tickets. I reckon we probably will sell out. So if you are umming and ahhing, please get your tickets soon. Should be good. Should be a good night.
Are you going to EGX itself?
I don't think so. Not fully decided yet, but we will see. Maybe. Are you going?
I'll be there on the Thursday.
Okay.
Should be good. Yeah, I enjoyed the event last time I was there, back at Excel. So different vibe to Tobacco Dock. I'll be going around the merch stands there. I have to say, I was a bit disappointed. Sorry, that implies that I'll be sort of doing some signings at the merch.
No, everyone who listens to One Life Left knows you'll be conducting your Simon Byron harvest of the merch stands.
Exactly, I'm very available to be sold to. It's the game's fault that they're not selling me more. No, actually, I was a little bit disappointed at the merch at Gamescom. Lots of illustrations of young Japanese characters, pillows with them on and stuff. It just made me feel a little bit icky.
Yeah, it must make it really difficult to sleep in your bed right now as well, full of them.
No, thank you, Steve. I stayed well away from those. I was what was I?
You could put them up in your loft by your David Beckham shrine. Different kind of shrine.
So hopefully there's a little bit better stuff to buy at EGX, some games to play. Lots of companies going to be there, so I'm looking forward to it.
Are you going to go to any of the talks?
I'm not. No.
It's interesting.
Well, just because I'm there at the B2B bit to start off with, and then I want to have some time to look around. I'm not going back Friday or Saturday or Sunday. Some of the talks do look good, I have to say.
I've never attended one of these or been to one of these sort of consumer-facing talks.
You'd get mobbed, Steve. That's why you don't go, isn't it? You would spend a fortune on security.
Maybe we should do One Life Left at one of them, Simon. You know, we used to do live shows back in the day, and now we don't. Why is that? Can you remember?
Because no one wants to see two old men.
We weren't old back then.
That's true.
No one wants to see two men. No one wants to see these two men. Is
And
what
quite right.
Yeah.
We have faces for radio.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm looking forward to it. Any other business? When you mentioned, I got really annoyed at Kirsty Young's new podcast this week.
There's another new podcast.
Yeah, well, Kirsty Young, you know, the old newsreader from Channel 5, now an arts presenter. Her podcast is where she talks to famous people and asks them, you know, what they would say to themselves over a passage of time, trying not to give the name of the podcast out. What do you think it's called? So, you know, when they talk between generations, you talk to yourself across the generations. What do you think the podcast is called?
Only One Life.
No. It's not. It's just a lazy name for that that particular.
I mean, there's lots of
podcast.
things you could riff off, right? Like talking to me, like back then. I don't know.
Think of the presenter's name.
Oh, Young again.
Yes.
Young.
And I'm like, that's pathetic. Like, it's like someone woke up and said, who've we got? Kirsty Young. Oh, what can she talk about? Oh, okay. How about that? Kirsty Young. And then I was like, well, what would our podcast be called? You'd do a news one, wouldn't you? You do a news
current affairs.
Yeah. And then all I could do is I'd do a Martin Lewis podcast or something.
Byron, get Ron free.
We've been cursed. We've been cursed by our because we don't have cool surnames like Kirsty Young.
Very good.
Do something about that.
All
That was it. That's my any other business.
Yeah, I don't have any. Let's do the reviews. What have you been playing this week, Simon?
Well, I reached a stage in Assassin's Creed Syndicate where, I was liberating areas of London very successfully, actually. Freeing the kids, kidnapping people, duffing up gang leaders, leveling up, and then going to another level that said going to another area which said that you should be the level I've just gone to in order to do exactly the same missions again. And so I was like, oh, actually, I've got quite far on this. And it's just literally more of the same, isn't it? So I stopped playing that, started playing Assassin's Creed Mirage instead.
Is that the new one?
It's the new one.
Oh, wow. Look at you.
Yes, with a hot new release. I was tempted by this one because everybody had been saying how it was a step back towards old style Assassin's Creed games, which were less open and sprawling and RPG-y as in particular Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey. But we're certainly started by these sort of Assassin's Creed 4, 5, and 6 ones that just became sort of simply too big. So this goes back to the roots of the games. It's so pretty, Steve. It's so pretty. It's set in Baghdad. And it's just an extraordinary city geography to wander around and climb up. The free running's not quite as smooth as it has been in previous games, but so you need to be a little more strategic in sort of planning your routes up things. But that's common across the rest of the game, actually, where, in Syndicate, I was so proficient with fighting that it was only when I became like really overwhelmed by enemies that I was struggling. But this time round, you're actually quite low powered, and so taking on 2 or 3 enemies at the same time is pretty difficult. So you often have to sort of run back to the shadows and hide. It does mean that it feels like more. It almost feels like a Hitman game this time round, where you're doing investigations, and then you're using your eagle. A gimmick I've never really got on with, but makes more sense in this version, where so you need to get into a prison where you can go through the front, or you can bribe a merchant, or that the game designers have to make a provision for people that don't want to do either of those things. So there is always a secret way in which you spot with your bird and stuff like that. And so, yeah, lurking around the shadows, picking off guards one by one. I am enjoying it. Now, apparently it takes sort of 12, 15 hours to finish this one. I'm maybe 4 or 5 hours in. I've offed the first major character. I'm on to the second at the moment. And yeah, it's really lovely. It runs beautifully on the ROG Ally, I have to say. So thoroughly enjoying it. 7 out of 10.
I wanted to play Cocoon this week, which is the Limbo-like thing, or sorry, the game from the Limbo designer. I haven't done that yet. Other games I haven't played this week: the Cosmic Wheel Sisterhood, which I've heard really, really good things about, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which I also saw is on Steam now, and really, really fancied, but didn't get around to playing. What I have played, or I played a while ago, and I don't think I've mentioned it on the show, is Terry Kavanagh's new game. Did I mention this before?
Ooh, no, you haven't. Mr.
Platformer, it's called. And do you know what sort of game it is, Simon?
Go on.
Well, it's an indie game, so you never know, do you? But Terry's quite straightforward about these things. It's a platformer. It's a platformer in the Atari 2600 aesthetic. So big, colourful blocks, and you can run, and you can jump, and you can swing on ropes. It's lots and lots of small levels. You can get the stars as well.
It looks like Pitfall.
It does look like Pitfall, doesn't it, Simon? Now, as with all of Terry's work, I thought there's probably something clever about this. And what I enjoyed was starting it and thinking, I don't get this. It's just a platformer. And then slowly it becoming apparent that it wasn't just a platformer, it had a greater meaning. And that is all I'm going to say about it, because I don't want to uncover... I don't want to spoil it for people. So you can find that at Terry's blog. If you search for Terry Kavanagh, actually, I could read out the name of his blog. It's distractionware.com/blog. You'll find it there. And you can find all his other work as well, which is all super interesting stuff in Roblox as well, which we've talked about before. Also, Terry uses Godot for his games. So he's ahead of the curve. Again, 7 out of 10.
Oh, I was going to say I've been playing some else, Steve. Yeah.
There we go.
I've been playing Bang On Balls Chronicles.
That's I read a good review of that on PC Gamer or something like that. Yeah, it's a terrible name.
It's a terrible name.
One of the worst names for a video game I've ever heard. They're awful.
For a great game, a 3D platformer with just stacks and stacks of stuff to do in it. In which you the sort of main mechanic is that you can bash things off each other, like almost in a sort of pull shot type of thing. Is one way of sort of banging enemies around, and everything breaks, everything's destructible. There's loads of stuff to find, lots of objectives. I found it a little bit overwhelming to start off with, but I had a great time with it. Looks lovely, runs very well on the handheld again. Absolute stacks of content. Yeah, it's a strange one because it's been in early access, but it has only just come out of it. It's from a team that have been behind some
such a bad name.
It's a bad name. What a great game.
I want to play it, but it's such a bad. I wonder whether that was. Someone must have said that's a bad name, and whether they've lent into that because I'm talking about it and it's stuck in my head as a bad name. Anyway. Bad name, but dude, yeah, it looks like a great game. I'll play that. I'll play that for next week.
Check it out. Yeah. Check it out. It's overwhelming. 7 out of 10.
I've been filling in. So Alice has started having homework. She gets sent books home every night, or a couple of times a week to read. And there's a book report she has to fill out, or I have to fill out. Really, a little yellow book which says the title, and she says, and it says, title of the book, and then it's a little box for parents or Alice to fill in. What did you think of the book? And every book she says, I think it was the best book ever. It was incredible. And then she says something. I say, okay, well, Alice, say some specifics about it. She says, I really like the way Father Christmas says bloomin' or whatever. And then she ends every review with 7 out of 10.
Oh,
Every
great.
single one. And I wonder how long it is before the teacher says, "Can you stop doing that, please?"
Well,
we'll
teacher.
find out.
Exactly. It's not stopped us.
It hasn't stopped us. We've got 40 seconds left. Anything else? I don't think so.
No. Looking forward to EGX, as I said earlier. So hopefully see some people there. Yeah.
Looking
Good
forward
luck
to seeing you.
karaoke.
I thought I was going to see you this Sunday, but it turns out we both got it wrong.
Plans changed, don't
I know.
they?
Apparently they
I
do
think-
change.
I think we had it right, actually. But
But it has changed. But I will see you soon. We'll go and look around some statues in Regent's Park. So if you're a One Life Left super fan and you're frustrated that you can't see us at live events because no one wants to see two old men talking about games, just hang out in Regent's Park for the next couple of weeks.
I think they've got us here, by the way, because I think we're only both going because the other one is. We've been told the other one's going.
Very clever. Outwitted again. All right. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Resonance FM for hosting. We'll be back next week. Until then, goodbye.
Bye.